Asada G. Ash, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Karen Thompson, Conversations. Who is this? INVNO1. I'm wishing all of y'all a grand rising this morning. I don't know why y'all coming up in here like we at a funeral. Y'all should be coming through the door, kicking your heels in celebration. Your peoples have done what, you know what? I ain't even gonna front. We back here on the morning mental. And of course, this is what we like to call the morning after. Y'all know what the morning after is. Grown folks talk to me. The morning after is when you roll over and see just what you have gotten yourself into. The morning after is when you realize that things didn't always look as nice as they did the night before, but we living in the aftermath, right? Peace and blessings upon all of you. I wish you love and light. Normally on my morning mental, I would have the Most High say to me, this is what I need you to tell the people. But one of the things that a lot of y'all don't understand is that it is written throughout history that the Most High likes to take people and use them as the scribes, as the reporters. And that's what we got to do this morning. Before I go any further, let me speak directly on something that needs to be spoken on, and that is this. So let me help y'all out with some facts, because as I said last night, if you wasn't there, shut up. If you were not there, your opinion means nothing. If you were not there, you don't have a goddamn clue what you're talking about. You're going on what someone else told you. And that is called hearsay. And that is inadmissible in court. In other words, don't nobody give a flying fuck about your opinion. You weren't there. Period. It's amazing how some of the same straw arguments that people use against us for other things come back and use that against you. Here's what I'm talking about. You ever heard some white person try to tell you, you were never a slave, so why should you have reparations? And then you look at them and say, you're right, I never was a slave, but you was never a slave owner either. Yet here we are. And the situation that we live in is because of what happened then. You see, they say that, well, reparations should only be paid to the slaves. Well, last time I checked, there were actually none left. I mean, I'm not talking about the ones you killed. Most of them have passed away from a long life. But if you wasn't there, that's the argument they use. And that's how y'all take it apart. Now you want to try and refute that argument and do the same thing and talk about something that you weren't there. You see, we can use that same argument. You wasn't there. I can just end the morning mental right there. Good morning. You wasn't there. Y'all have a great day. Shalom. I could do that. But I know that I have to let the people who was there, their story needs to be represented. You understand what I'm saying? Their story needs to be lifted up, because let me tell you something that a lot of y'all really miss. I'm going to help my people out right here. Every one of those black people who left the comfort of their homes, packed up, racked up, and came out, suited up, booted up, and stepped out, came because the blood that's in their veins, and the blood that's in my veins, and the blood that's in all of our veins, their blood was activated by the ancestors. All of the blood that had been shed that's in the ground cried out, and their blood heard it, and their blood brought them there, and their blood is what gave them the fortitude to face that which they didn't know what they were walking into. So I have to salute all of those people. Now I'm going to get a little personal and let you see what they don't tell you in this report. I've seen all of the stories from people who weren't there, but I've also listened to the people who were there. And when we started to get together. I personally went face to face with the first 400 people to do their security checks. Let me share something with you. Those people weren't gung-ho. They weren't out there, oh, they weren't like that. There were grown men and grown women that were scared. Oh, there were people whose hands were shaking. And we had to tell them, take a deep breath, calm down. They were nervous. There were people out there who were filled with anxiety because they were facing the unknown. There were people out there that were so angry at what has been done to us. We had to tell them to bring it down a notch. And you can ask anybody that I personally inspected. I asked them this question. Are you sure you ready to kill somebody out here today? And they looked me in my eyes and they said, I'm ready. And I watched the ancestral spirit. And I said this, you can ask any one of them. I said, not until I get the word and I give you the word. Now, if I don't get the word, I'm not going to give you the word. And everybody was cool with that. On top of that, the same blood that flows in my veins flowed through the city of Louisville. The community came out. They came out like we was one of these big hip hop groups that they ain't tell y'all that. Oh, they came out and they showed love. They brought us water. They brought food. They came out there. They came out. I have to salute the whole city. As Jeezy say, I brought the whole city out, y'all. I brought the streets out, y'all. Let me tell you how deep it was. I got so many things that happened on that day that you won't hear about, that were just showing me how deep this is for our people. There was a man riding around on a bicycle, dressed just like us, but he wasn't with us. Armed just like us, but he wasn't with us. He was from the hood. He was in his hood. He was patrolling the hood on a bike. And when he saw us, he came over and said, I'm here to do my part. Now you could smell the alcohol on him. You could tell that he was the person in the hood. That was his thing. He was battling that demon. But even he knew in the fog of his mind that the blood was telling him, the ancestors are saying it's time to do something. This was some brother from Louisville. I didn't even know this cat. And we did get him under control. But the brother wanted to help because his blood was boiling and it was talking. The ancestors was saying. So if you got somebody around you who, number one, wasn't there, number two, got an opinion, number three, ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight, y'all got to tune them out. And we assembled. And when we assembled, we had people from different groups that I opened the door to join us. And I salute all of those groups that came out with their groups and their commanders. And they came and they joined with us. And we welcome that because that's what we have to do as a people. Moderators, capture names. And then it got hot. It got real hot. Louisville, it was 94 degrees out there. Louisville. The sun was beaming. It was a beautiful day. We couldn't have asked for anything more. Louisville. It was hot out there. And like I taught y'all earlier, we was in the cup. I want you all to understand that nobody got shot by anybody. It got hot and someone passed out. And when they passed out, they had an old shotgun. And that shotgun discharged into the concrete. And the concrete pieces hit people. And those people, they were injured. And I've talked to all of those people. Nobody was rushed to the hospital because they were shot. We asked them to go get checked out. And they did. 2 of them came back and they swore in with us later on. And the last person, he hit us up from the hospital. He had a piece of concrete hit him right here. Oh, but nobody reported that. Oh, it was a shooting. That's all y'all heard, because they know that violence sells. They couldn't wait to equate a black militia with shooting. And since we hadn't shot no white people, they could, we can lift this up. They shot each other. Anytime racist institutions like Fox News are the ones that want to report the story, you should question the source. Like I said last night, y'all amaze me how you don't trust the media, but yet all of a sudden you take this at face value. Y'all got to be brighter than that. But when you're brainwashed, you can't help yourself. So first thing I want to do is I want to salute and I want to lift up my 3 soldiers that stood out there that got hit by pieces of concrete. And I also want to salute the brother that came, who was from another organization that we welcome with love, and we still love these folks, and they can come stand with us any day of the week. That he couldn't take the heat. Brother, I salute you. I know how hot it was out there. Everybody was soaked. Sweat was pouring. We were wearing all black, wearing all that gear. It wasn't your fault, bruh. Don't beat yourself up. You wasn't the only one that passed out that day. You was the first one that passed out that day. And we are blessed by the Most High that nobody was killed. We were very blessed that day because it was hot. And maybe all of you all who sit around talking about, I want to join, maybe you should think it over a little bit, that this is real work. And a lot of y'all who think that your liberation is going to come overnight, y'all stop that shit. Y'all been in bondage for 400 years and now you think you're going to get it overnight. Well, at least someone's trying. What are you doing? You don't like what we're doing? Form your own militia. The Constitution applies to you too. If you don't like what the NFAC is doing, form your own organization. We know we got the ways to go. Hell, we've only been on the scene for a hot minute and already here y'all come, look, but you ain't got nothing. You want us to learn? Show us by example. We'll come to your formation next. We'll observe your safety inspections. We'll watch how many of your people are in uniform. Talk, Jay. We'll see how you all execute when you're confronted by the enemy. They didn't show y'all what happened when the people threw bottles at us. They didn't show y'all when our own people attacked us. They didn't show y'all that. They didn't show y'all when the BLM movement tried to come down and start some shit with us and the police would say, are you motherfuckers crazy? Y'all didn't see none of that. When you do it, you show us and we will follow your example. But in the meantime, shut the fuck up, step to the side and let us do what we trying to do, because y'all don't seem to remember. Everything they said about us at Stone Mountain, we corrected, but y'all ain't satisfied. So I want to salute those 3 people who were not shot. They didn't get hit with a bullet. Nobody pulled the trigger on them. There were no fingers on the trigger. And anyone who sits up on here and talks about, well, they should have had the safety on. Obviously, you ain't never had an old shotgun. One of the ones that always has a shell in the chamber. Drop it if you want to. Matter of fact, let me demonstrate something for y'all. Y'all hold on a second. We're here on the Morning Mental. I'm going to show you just how stupid some people are. Give me a weapon. This weapon right here? Yes. This is a bullpup. Give me the bullpup. Yes, sir. This is my first weapon that I ever bought. I bought this weapon back in 1990 in Germany. This is an XR-15 Shorty. We call it a bullpup because this bitch got kicked to it. This bitch will knock you the fuck down. The interesting thing about this weapon is if I pull back the bolt, see that? See the bolt? There's no bullet in there. Pay very close attention. If I'm not paying attention and I take this weapon and I bang it, look what just happened. The bolt goes forward. The weapon has fired. I didn't touch the trigger. I just simply banged it on the table. If you sit down and you bang this on the ground, you will blow your head off. It happens in basic training every day. And you all get a letter and a flag saying your son was killed in a training accident. An old shotgun, if you drop it, it will fire. So don't believe these motherfuckers running around talking about you shouldn't have had your hand on the trigger. You don't have to have your hand on the trigger. Let me show you again. I'm going to sit down. I'm tired. You just committed an incident. Your hand was not on the trigger. Doesn't make a difference whether, and it was on safe. Unless you understand weapons for real, don't you listen to these motherfuckers who have no intention of ever picking up one and who don't understand that weapons go off by themselves all the time. Now that I've shown you that. So the person who passed out from the heat dropped their weapon. The weapon fired into the cement. We're very fortunate because when you have 3,500 people and one person drops their weapon, 3 people got hit with concrete. Why? They were standing in a formation waiting to be inspected. Why was he locked and loaded? You don't know nothing about weapons, do you? He wasn't locked and loaded, you dumbass. It's an old Winchester 20 gauge. There is no safety. The safety is you don't bang the motherfucker around. And the brother that passed out, who I lift up today, I lift you up, brother, because you stood there until you couldn't stand no more. Now, y'all can listen to the media if you want to, because they want y'all to think that black people can't do nothing right. Yet, they couldn't even assemble themselves to come confront us. That's all I want to say about that. Remember, the ghetto fly is still up in here now because he done heard something. And I've shown you. Stop believing everything that you hear. Last but not least, before I get into the lesson. Oh, there's a lesson, but I had to clear some things up. We marched on Louisville successfully yesterday. We got a response from the Attorney General within an hour of us leaving. He issued a statement. The story is here on my page. Please take a look at it. We have the involvement of Louisville now with us, with the NFAC, to move toward a resolution on Breonna Taylor. Because remember, we went down there about Breonna Taylor. Notice the media doesn't want to talk about what we said we were there to do. They just want to talk about the fact that somebody dropped their weapon. But they don't want to talk about the fact that we went down, got transparency on Breonna Taylor's case, and then turned around and got some form of a response that says, you know, we understand the urgency. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, but we put a clock on it. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fact that not only did the NFAC come down, but that other gun clubs and organizations came down. They don't want to talk about the fact that we were all on one accord. They don't want to talk about the fact that, and I salute Breonna's aunt that was out there cooking. They don't want to talk about the camaraderie that came together. They don't want to talk about the fact, and I have to say this because y'all can stop acting like we're the only ones in the world. They don't want to talk about all of the white people that came down there and said, we ain't got nothing to do with this shit. We are your allies. This is what the white people did. We didn't tell them to come down there. We didn't know they was going to come down there. And if you was there, you saw what they did. Those white folks played their position. They stood back and said, look, we here, but we're not, we just want you to know we're not like them other crazy motherfuckers over there. Nobody was off key who was there. Everybody was on one accord who was there because we all knew that we were not there to confront each other. We was there to confront the problem. I saw somebody just say in the comments that if you wasn't there, stop typing. I'm going to do you one better than that. I'm going to ask that everybody who's on this live, I'm going to give you your props right now. If you were there, and don't lie, because we're going to capture this in the recording. And if we catch you lying, I'm going to pull your username and I'm going to put your ass on blast and I'm going to talk all about you. But if you was there, put in right now, I was there. Type in right now, I was there. Whether you was NFAC or a spectator or someone in the crowd, because we know who was there. We got all, so y'all have no idea how much facial recognition software we were running. We know who all was out there. To my NFAC members, I was there. To the members of the Huey Newton Gun Club, I was there. To the members of the New Black Panthers, I was there. To the members of the Dark Riders, I was there. To the members of the Fred Hampton Gun Club, I was there. To the citizens of Louisville, I was there. If you was there, type it right now. If you wasn't there, shut the fuck up. Let me look. I didn't ask you to type I wasn't there. If you wasn't there, don't say nothing. We already know you wasn't there. You don't have to tell us you wasn't there. Stop trying to get seen in something that's not for you to get seen in. I'm talking to the people who knew that there was going to be a lot of guns and they still came. I'm talking to the people that came out there because they finally saw somebody speaking to power to get a resolution in the murder of a black woman. I was there. If you was there, say, if you wasn't there, don't say nothing. See, that's our problem. A lot of y'all don't know how to follow simple instructions. Simple instructions. How can you expect to solve a complex problem when you can't follow simple instructions? How can you expect to be loyal to a cause when you can't even be loyal to an instruction? How are you going to sit there in good conscience and talk about what you want when you won't get off your ass to go get it? Don't come talking to me about you want liberation if you're not in the liberating business. Don't come talking to me about I want freedom when you won't act like you free. Don't come talking to me about what somebody told you if them people didn't look like you or they wasn't there. I'm talking to the people who was there. I'm lifting up the people that came out in that hot ass sun, stood out there in that hot ass heat, came down the street with us knowing that it could have went south at any moment, and who don't give a flying fuck about the opinion of people who were not there. I want to salute all of y'all. And to all of y'all who got something to say about that, I done told you action speaks louder than words. So please, while I'm lifting up these good people, shut your corny ass up and sit down. I'm just letting the I was theirs have their moment. We're going to pause right here. We're going to put our kickstand down. We're going to park right here. And we're going to lift up the people that were there. Now, let me take another step. I want to salute the people that couldn't make it for good reasons, but still was there in heart. They was there in soul. They even got suited and booted and went and stood out in their front yard and mean mugged somebody, or they went somewhere where they could go and made somebody uncomfortable because they knew what was going on. I got to salute them too. But I can't salute the people who loud like a motorbike, but ain't busting a grape in a fruit fight, Jay-Z. I can't hear you right now. Now, to all you keyboard cowards, look, man, I laugh at you because to me, I cannot believe that in 2020, after all we've seen and all we've done, that y'all still sitting there being house niggas. I'm sorry, there's no other way. Y'all are Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained. You are. And it's funny because you're the first one to swear that you're not. Then I also want to call out the ones that who claim that, well, we've been doing this for years. Yeah, you've been doing what for years? You've been talking for years. And don't nobody take, we heard you. Matter of fact, that's why we out here, because we heard you. But don't think that we're not going to talk our way to freedom, folks. We're not. And the sooner y'all get over that, the better off we'll be. We're not going to sing our way to freedom, y'all. We're not going to march our way to freedom, y'all. We're going to have to muscle our way to freedom. unapology. I thought about this thing, and when I looked at it, I tried to understand why. Why? Here's why. Because from the very beginning, I've told you, this is not about us. This is about doing his will. This is about acting out that which has been written. So if y'all don't mind, just for a few minutes, I'm going to jump into one of the ancient books. And the book that I'm going to jump into today to begin my lesson, again, y'all know I'm always going to pull up in the book of morals and precepts, the book of establishment, the third book, which is the great book of the sons of fire, which is the teachings of the great unnamed first masters and the hidden wisdom as recorded in the earlier times. These are books from Kemet. These are the books of Egypt. And in chapter 2, where it is the nature of the true God, there is a segment that says, work for our God and he will work for you. He remembers well the man who labors on his behalf. He who labors into the benefits of others works for the great God. He who improves earth's works for him. Anyone who came out to do the work for the people who are the children of the Most High. Don't worry about what these people back here are saying. You work for him. It's written right here. He'll work for you. And so people want to know how we can do these things and why we can do these things and why we can speak to the spirit and why we can inspire inspiration and unification. Why? Because it's not us. You are witnessing the works. Because you will know them by what they do, not by what they say. You will know them by their actions, not by their lack of action. You will know them by their results, not by what their hopes and dreams are, by how they manifest them. And that is what we are doing. And just because you ain't, or just because you can't, or maybe in the heat you find out, like my man found out, some of us will faint, but that's all right. You got to find yourself a space in this place. And while you're going through all of that, as I told you once before, I'm going to tell you one more time. Shit happens. Totally beyond your control. Everything happens for a reason. Remember, there are some people who didn't even have a clue what was going on. Now they do know. Even if they know it in a fucked up way, they know about it because they running over here for the mess, only to find out they messed around and got blessed. All y'all didn't hear me. I'm going to say it one more time. They came over here for the mess and messed around and got blessed. Can I talk about Rahab? No, I'm not going to do it because I didn't want to go there today. I go back into the book and it says right here, it says the purpose of a man's journey on earth is the glorification of man, not the glorification of God, who is the all-glorious one. Thus, it is written in the plans of God. Y'all still ain't getting what I'm saying. He brought you new enemies, yet he has destroyed his own children. All of you all who's sitting around being negative against your own kind, all of you all who are sitting around hating on your own kind, don't you understand that it is written in the book? He says he has brought low his enemies. Yes, he has even destroyed his own children. But then it goes even further to say that if you keep the peace in the true temple, I know I'm going to lose some of y'all right here because this is too deep for the morning mental. It says the true temple of the great gods are not structures of stone and brick. They are the places of quietude in your heart and your home where you listen to the awakening of your soul as it responds to the conscious contact with him and the demands of this world. Y'all keep talking about the ancestors talking to you. Y'all keep talking about that's what made me get up and come here. I'm showing you in the ancient books that this is exactly what he said will happen. That's that burning feeling. But some of y'all ain't burning. Some of y'all don't have ancestral blood in you. Some of y'all have some other blood in you. So you can't even begin to understand. I really don't even fault the white folks who don't get it. I know you don't get it. It's not in your blood. You don't have what I have in me. You might be shaped like me. You can even talk like me. You can walk like me. You can do a lot of things like me, but you are not me. So when the alert comes out, when the message comes out, it only is going to affect the blood of the people. As it says right here, the true temples of the great God are not structures of stone and brick. They are places of quietude in your heart. If your heart is not quiet, it means you're in confusion. And a home where you listen to the awakening of your soul. You're sitting here on the morning mental. You sit on facts over feelings, and I speak to your soul. And if anybody else has failed to do that job, that's not my concern. We don't go through life looking in the rearview mirror. We go through life looking at the windshield, because the windshield is always going to be bigger than the small ass rearview mirror. Sometimes we don't even have to look in the rearview mirror, because greater is what is coming than what is already past us. The 400 years is behind us. Slavery is behind us. Jim Crow is behind us. All of these things that's happening to us today, that's because we need to look forward. And what we're doing is we're walking in our purpose. That's why our numbers continue to grow, because the nation of Israel, the descendants of the 12 tribes, those of us who are ancestrally connected to our ancient peoples, that's what we're doing now. We're getting the call, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going to get bigger. Y'all heard what I told the news lady. I said, we're not going anywhere. So what? They have training accidents in the military every day. They don't shut down the Army, the Navy, the Marines, or the Air Force. I've seen people who go to the gun range and people hurt themselves. They don't close the gun range and condemn everybody. But a lot of y'all are so weak and so afraid and so scared and so comfortable in your slave captivity of the mind that as soon as someone comes along, I'm reminded of what they said in the movie The Matrix. Some of these people are so hardwired into this system that they'll kill you before they let you wake them up. You know, also, you have to remember you've been the victim of what they call an inferiority campaign. Brainwashing and branding and resistance. And before I go on, people are asking, yes, all three of those people are just fine. As a matter of fact, they're in great spirits. They said, we got battle scars now. We have been through the crucible. While all you have is a picture, I got something to show my kids. While all you have is a post, they have something to show their children. Yes, I stood the post. And even though it was an accident that happened when someone dropped the weapon, they have something that will always remind them that I stood the post and you didn't. So I'm going to keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it until somebody proves me wrong. And this is the kind of challenge. Y'all like to take challenges all the time. Y'all like to take challenges, huh? Here's a challenge. Form a militia just like ours, as large as ours, and you do your thing. We won't stand in your way. We will lift you up and support you as long as we have the same goal. The Black inferiority campaign started back in 1619 when the first Africans landed in Jamestown, Virginia. I just happened to have one of the flyers that they had back in the day. Can I read it to you? It said, to be sold on board. And there's a ship. Negroes. They was selling y'all. In 1776, they had a propaganda masterpiece. It was called the Declaration of Independence. Then they had what they called the Wedgwood slave cameo. That's one of the few images where they had a slave on a coin. From the 1600s, in the 1650s, they had the slave codes. That's where the local brainwashing began. And then in the 1700s, Thomas Jefferson, he had the notes from the state of Virginia where they were brainwashing us. Matter of fact, you can go find they don't show you these old posters where they had coon, coon, coon. They don't talk about resistance leaders. People like Frederick Douglass, they don't want to talk about that no more, but they damn sure want to remind you of Aunt Jemiah's wedding day. And they had a marketing strategy. As with most propaganda, the campaign against Black Americans had a clear goals. These was the goals of the propaganda that you are now victims of today. Convince Blacks that they were intimately inferior to whites. That was the goal of the propaganda to convince you that you are inferior to whites. I didn't make this up. This is what they did to you. That's why today, when you do something, it's looked at so hard. You're supposed to be inferior. You're supposed to be second class. You're supposed to be stupid. You're supposed to be. Shouldn't we do something about this? No, that's the myth. Also, convince whites that blacks were condemned by God and were destined to be their servants. That's the propaganda. That's why they talk to you a certain kind of way. That's why they call the police on you when you're doing blacks, just doing regular stuff. Because they've been brainwashed too to think that the Most High said you're supposed to be this way. When the truth of the matter is, this is not a color. That's what you made up. This is an organ. This is melanin. And it produces a vitamin when the sunshine hits us. We have that, including our ancestral blood. But the propaganda also was to convince whites that free black labor was necessary to build national and personal wealth. They were convinced that free black labor, you're supposed to work for us. We can't be rich unless you do. That's why today, every dollar that you give to a white business, you are actually still doing the same thing. You're taking money out of our mouths and putting it in their mouths. They just don't have to use a whip on you to do it no more. That's the propaganda that's been put on you for years. And then in the 1900s, they had this black inferiority campaign. They kept it going. Then they came out with the Klan in 1915. Oh, y'all remember the Klan that was born on Stone Mountain? Oh, we paid them a visit already. Then even Hollywood got involved. Y'all remember all those movies like Gone with the Wind and Casablanca, where they always had the blacks in the servant role. It was always a black person coming in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, master. Yes, sir, boss. Y'all remember this is how Hollywood was doing it. They were selling you products. Y'all been brainwashed for so long. In the late 60s, we had one brief shining moment when black was beautiful. We saw ourselves as beautiful and unique, and the world accepted this newfound pride and self-definition and self-determination. And we thought that we was on our way. Through the 40s and the 50s, we had people like Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X that came forward. And then in the 70s, we had trailblazers. We had entertainers that came out. We had the Wantu Wazuri. We had Richard Pryor, who was making jokes about, we learned to laugh at ourselves. We had the deacons of defense, black people who picked up weapons proudly to defend their own people. If you don't know about the deacons of defense, then you are doing yourself a disservice. I'm only teaching history. Don't get upset at me. I'm not the one that did this to you. But I came before y'all this morning to talk a little bit about that because the brainwashing has to stop. Has to stop. I'm going to reiterate this one more time on the morning mental, and that is this. You've been lied to again. You've been hoodwinked again. There was no shooting, as they're saying. There was an accidental discharge because someone passed out and dropped their weapon. That's it. But they don't want to talk about all the successes we had and that happened before we did anything. They're not going to talk about that. Y'all got to talk about that. Black folks, you got to stop letting people tear down your accomplishments. You got to stop letting people trying to erase you from the history books before you even get in it on this morning mental. Are we going to do it again? Yeah, we're going to do it again. Is the NFAC standing strong this morning? Yes, we are. Are y'all ready to see the video that they haven't shown y'all yet? We'll post it right after this. But it's Monday morning, y'all. And y'all all on YouTube and Facebook and social media, which is not real, talking about something that happened in the real world when number one, you wasn't there. Number two, you ain't got no intentions of being there. And number three, when the chance comes around again, I'm pretty sure I'll get a bunch of excuses and so forth telling me why you couldn't be there. You've been on the morning mental. I'm so glad that you're here. Again, I salute all of the folks that came out. Again, I salute the city of Louisville for showing us love like they did. Also, I want to let all of you all know, Malcolm X was Malcolm Little, but they don't talk about that. You know what's real strange? Even for those of y'all who still practice the slave master's religion, Jesus, the Christ, for 33 years was something else. was someone else. We all came from somewhere to be the people that we are today. And it's not what you do, it's that you remember that you are who you are. Like I am that I am. So please, get with the program or get out of the way. You cannot stop us with your criticisms. You cannot stop us with your lies. We are going to come one way or the other. And if you're not one of us, stop pretending like you are. Because if all it took was for one man passing out in the sunshine in 94-degree heat and his shotgun discharging, because when he dropped the weapon, the boat went forward, even though it wasn't this kind of weapon. It was an old shotgun, old school. If that's all it took for you to jump ship, if that's all it took for you to leave, if that's all it took for you to say, man, I knew them cats was full of it, then you're proving to me that once again, you value what the white man says to you over what the black man says. And any brother who, rather than come ask an intelligent question, rather than jump into a conclusion, we're glad that you jumped your ass right out this boat. We don't need you. We don't want you. Y'all talk about us going to the promised land, us doing an exodus from the United States. You are letting us see who can't go and who can go. Oh, don't worry. When we all start the exodus, don't be surprised when we're standing there saying you can't go. Well, why? I'm black. No, you're not. You just have black skin. Don't come to us talking about, oh, but my ass. But my ass is you stand with us right now or don't stand with us at all. You fight with us right now or don't fight with us at all. Don't come to the party after the work is done talking about that you should be admitted. When the reparations checks start to get cut, we're going to make sure your name is not on the list. When we get to the promised land and we start to hand out land, hand out wealth, parse out education, recognize bloodlines, we don't want to hear nothing from you. You have shown us that you are not one of us. You have shown us that you would rather side with the master. You have shown us that you will give in to gossip. You will give in to just being negative. You have shown us you don't want to go with us. You want to stay here with your masters. We're going to record that information and make sure you don't go with us. We don't want you. We don't desire you. You are not one of us. Your blood is polluted and diluted, and it can't be reconstituted. I'm going to say it again. Your blood is polluted. It can't be reconstituted. There is no transfusion for you. Don't come before us thinking you can weasel your way back in. I told y'all a long time ago that there are some people who are children of the king, and there's a lot of other ones that's just trying to tippy-toe into the kingdom. See, you identifying yourself. That's why these things must happen. We did all the planning that we could, but it was the Most High that says, now I'm going to expose those who are hiding out with you, who are not who they say they are. That one incident has exposed all of you all. We don't care what the white folks are saying. They wasn't going with us no goddamn way. But thank you, y'all, for showing us who's really with us and who's not. I need the numbers on here right now. If you're not down with this coalition, go ahead and log off right now. Let me show y'all something. Watch this. I'm looking at the numbers right now. If you're not down with the NFAC, and you're not down with us getting liberated and getting our own country or getting someplace where we can determine our destiny, if you really ain't with that, I'm going to show you how they cannot ignore us. They can't ignore us, y'all, because they want to be us. They want to be us so bad it kills them. They can't sleep at night. They putting all this energy into criticizing because they want to be us. Because every time black folks, we beautiful when we do stuff. We do stuff with style. We do it in excellence. We do it in decency. We're not perfect. We're not robots, but we are Yah's army. And you got to choose a side. It says in the book, in the last days, you got to either be this way or that way. You can't be in the middle. And what we found out was that he made something happen to expose those of y'all who own the fence, because a lot of y'all fell. And if you're not one of those people, please go ahead and log off right now. But I know you're not, because you want to be us so bad, you have to sit here. That's why you bring your ass up in here. So if you really ain't being about it, go show us how brave. I should see the numbers just drop right now. I should see y'all walk out Walk the fuck out right now. Bye. We're not going to miss you. I just need my real folks right here. I need my team members right here. I need my what's up next folks right here. I don't need the people that's in here that I don't like them, but I got to keep an eye on them. No, you ain't got to keep an eye on shit right here because we got an eye on our own thing. We don't ask y'all for nothing. We're not getting paid to do this. We're not out pimping you to a WhatsApp. I ain't asked you for a goddamn dollar. We ain't trying to, I love people. Oh, he's a fraud. A fraud for what? A fraud for standing up for my people and ain't asking for shit in return? You better go ask some people who the fuck you think pays for everything. Who the fuck you think comes out and if you ain't got a way to get there, we'll make a way for you to get there. Who you think is doing that? I put money out of my pocket like all the rest of my people do. We don't ask you motherfuckers for nothing. Yet you got the nerve to sit there and be critical of something that number one, you don't approve of. Number two, you ain't got nothing invested of. Get the fuck out of this motherfucker right now. Let's see who got the backbone to turn their back on what's going on over here. We are on the morning motherfucking mental. And it's hot in this cup. I'm going to show you why we have nothing to hide. Everybody who's on this morning mental that is a standing member of the NFAC that has had to pay $1 to this organization, that I've asked you to pay $1 to this organization, please type right now. Please type right now. I paid because no one has paid anything. Ain't nobody gonna be able to say that. There you go. Because they haven't. Now, for those of y'all that you're jealous, don't worry, you're gonna be all right. And for those of y'all who still want to repeat the lie, don't worry, you're gonna be all right too. Because you can't stop this show. And for those of y'all who just in denial, because you believe this shit, all I can say is we feel sorry for you. We really do. But like I said, you don't have to rock with us. You can log off right now. You see, here's the part y'all got fucked up. And I got clearance. We don't owe you motherfuckers no explanation. You didn't finance us. You didn't organize us. You didn't give us orders. We don't owe you shit. If you want to explain something, explain why y'all don't have your own militia. Explain why you haven't pulled a weapon out and done anything. Explain that. Explain why all you do is sit behind a keyboard and talk shit. Let's explain that. You owe us that explanation. Explain to us why if we dig in your past, why you're not perfect. Explain those things for us, to us. We need answers. We need answers why you such a pussy. We need answer why you're a coward. Matter of fact, we need answer why you such a biatch. We need answers. Explain that. Because at the end of the day, we don't owe you motherfuckers anything. This is a free country. We can do what the fuck we want to do. And you can mind your own motherfucking business. But when we're in the business of trying to liberate our people and you talk against us, every black person should pay attention to the black people that are talking hard against or talking negatively against something that's happening that's good for your own people. I'm going to have to elevate that. No, true to yourself 40. They're not coons. They're not coons. They are worse than that. They are our enemy. And I'm going to say this publicly. What are you going to do if I say, before we fight the white man again, we're going to start killing every last one of you. We're going to go door to door and start killing niggas. And mean it. Oh, it'll be a different tune then. Because all of a sudden, it wasn't me. If I say every member of the NFAC start killing other black people who talking reckless against us because they're the enemy, a lot of you all would shut the fuck up. And you have no idea how close we are to that point. Because we know you won't fight the white man. But my question now becomes, would you fight us? That's my morning mental for this morning. You see, black folks, we learned that not only is that our enemy, but you're making it crystal clear you're our enemy too. And this ain't black on black crime. This is black on coon enemy crime. Think about it. And don't keep running up on us with that bullshit, because we're not fucking around. It just has never applied to you. Don't give me a reason to make it apply to you, because a lot of you all breathe only because I allow it, and you know who you are. I just got bigger and better things to do with my time. So be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. I hope y'all enjoy your day though. This is the Morning Mental. Hopefully you'll join me tonight for Facts Over Feelings, where tonight we're going to talk a little bit more, because we don't have our own official news agency. Y'all want to bring me what the white man said, and I'm telling you, thus saith the black man. And the black man has told y'all what really happened. If you haven't watched my videos, let me stop for a second. If you don't follow me, if you ain't watched none of my videos, don't say nothing to me. I'm not even going to entertain you. I'm just going to delete you and block you, and that's the end of that. Go do your research and watch some of my videos and learn before you open your mouth. The ignorance of black people is astounding to me today. Y'all wonder why we can't be free. Our biggest block is our stupidity. Some of y'all are so stupid. You know everything, but don't know nothing. You swear you intelligent, but don't know how dumb you sound. Remember what I told y'all about coming to the high school and you're a freshman? Well, those of us who've been here that are seniors, they're about to graduate, we looking at you freshmen and saying, you're trying to run through the door and run shit, and you don't even know who running shit up in here. And for all of you all who are just much folk that are here just to spectate and act like you're supposed to sit in judgment when you haven't done anything, we're not going to keep ignoring that, because I invite you. Name the place and the time, and we will come watch what you do. But until then, think about this. Obviously, the white folks take us seriously because they had to issue a statement within an hour of us coming to Louisville for Breonna Taylor, letting everybody know. And if you haven't seen it, don't get mad. We have successes with what we do, and you are a cowardly failure. And I said it. And that applies to every man, woman, and child that believes the bullshit around the world. NFAC is built for the strong black folks. No, we're not perfect. We're not robots. We learn from our mistakes. This is an organization that is growing by leaps and bounds. And a lot of y'all acting like you're experts on some shit that you won't even do. But that's okay. Y'all gonna be all right. Just remember, all of this comes out in the end. And what you're doing right now is you're giving white folks just what they want. You want to actually show that you down. When you see them talking reckless, defend that shit. When someone tells an outright lie, you tell the truth. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I guess he said it's right, because you're acting like a brainwashed slave. We can't have y'all with us in the new land. So when I decide to exit from social media, don't come trying to follow me. When I tell you that we finally got the agreement for the liberation for us to have somewhere to go, don't come asking to go. When we go somewhere and start to stand the fuck up and y'all see us building something that looks like a Wakanda, don't you bring your punk ass over there acting like, well, I'm black, I should be a member. No, we got your track record right here. When we do that, do not, under any circumstances, think that we will forget that when we went to Louisville to stand on behalf of Breonna Taylor, that you acted like a complete nigger. We're going to remember that. I salute all the brothers and sisters in my personal guard who had the honor of defending my life. No, they didn't show y'all that. They didn't show y'all the snipers on the buildings. They didn't show y'all all the people that was throwing bottles and acting crazy. And the guard, my personal guard, which was men and women, mostly the women that I put up front with me because they're like my Dora Minaj, because they were more ruthless than some of the brothers out there. To all the brothers and sisters that was in my personal guard, I salute you and I thank you. Because even when I told y'all to move out the way, and said, if you want my blood, take it. Take it now. If you hate me so much, take it now. You know all you motherfuckers on here talking shit? That was your shot. That was your chance. If you know what's best was, I gave you the opportunity on nationwide TV. Oh, it would have been glorious. And then I would have gone out the same way my namesake went out. You see, I'm John Fitzgerald. You remember John Fitzgerald Kennedy? They blew his head off on TV when he was a sitting president. Well, I gave you that opportunity. John Fitzgerald, not Grandmaster Jay. John Fitzgerald stepped up there and said, move out the way. Take my blood. I'm still here. So unless you are the person that's going to take some action, I don't want to hear no more of your yapping. We got work to do. NFAC, we driving on. For all the students, and all these students. Class will continue. I'll see y'all tonight on Facts Over Feelings. And by the way, y'all been hearing me talk about BlackTube. BlackTube is almost ready to go. I know that while we was down there, upholding things in Louisville, I was getting communication. My phone was just blowing up. But it's ready. They just wanted to change out the logo. When we leave here, we are going over to BlackTube, which is a Black-owned platform where no one can censor us, where everybody's going to get their alerts. We can say what the hell we want to say. We can do what we want to do. But here come the trick. You can't just get in like everybody can get in right now. It's BlackTube, which means it's going to be for Black folks. And I'm going to take the morning mental and I'm going to take Facts Over Feelings over to BlackTube. And then I'll be done with this. There'll be no more Instagram, Facebook, none of that bullshit. And only our folks will know what we're doing over on BlackTube. Yes, please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. If you would like to join the NFAC, or if you want, matter of fact, everybody was talking about, can I get a shirt? Can I get a shirt? Can I get a shirt? I told you, we're not here to make money off of you. What I am going to do is I'm going to pick a select group of folks and I will send you one of these shirts so you can rep too for the NFAC, but we are not going to sell you anything yet. Or we're going to make our money, but we want y'all to understand that we're not here to pimp you for your money. We're not going to make DVDs and documentaries and shit and then attack other people that's doing stuff. We don't do shit like that. We're not going to sit around and act high and mighty, but then when the motherfucker pull up with one of these, you want to talk about it. You see, when we pull up with one of these, we don't come to talk. I really hope that y'all understand who you running your mouth about. We don't know how to talk no more. We really don't. So if you built like that, and this is really what you want, then let us know. You ain't got to sit online and cry like a bitch. You know we the pull-up masters. Please just forward your address to us and we'll pull up. I hate to sound so gangster and ghetto on the morning mental, but some of y'all don't believe shit stink until it hits you in the face. And we got a bunch of shit over here prepared to hit your ass in the face. Once again, stop spreading the lie that somebody got shot. Nobody got shot. Somebody passed the fuck out, dropped their weapon in the heat, and it hit the cement, and pieces of the cement hit a few people. And all of the EMS, I thank y'all for being on site because that's what I asked for. Thank you for all of the Louisville Metro Police Department that was working with us. Major Gregory, I salute you. That were there to make sure that everything was handled quickly. And we then went on and had a successful day. That video will be posted on YouTube and here. And while I'm talking about it, to the individuals that did the documentary on us from Vice Magazine and Vice TV, I can't wait to see the work. That's the interview y'all saw me giving on the Fountain. And then they were out there with me mic'd up. They got everything. Y'all can listen to the lies or y'all can stand aside. Either way, you can't stop what's already been ordained. I am the official Grandmaster Jay. Fuck what you heard. I told you, only perfect people have the right to talk to me. And since none of y'all are perfect, I guess it'll be crickets. I bid you a shalom. I see you tonight on Facts Over Feelings. And we out. See this bullshit, bro?